Good morning, everybody. Welcome back there. So I'm on Scott Selections here for Tuesday, November 16th. We're getting today's play of the day. Quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner with the Wizards -4.5 and -110 on DraftKings as they took on the New Orleans Pelicans, and they won by 5. Was definitely not easy. Getting outscored by 16 points by the Pelicans in the second quarter is not exactly ideal. But we know the Pelicans fall apart late in games. They did once again, got outscored by 12 in the fourth quarter, and the Wizards rallied to win by 5. So a nice win for us. Look for another winner here on Tuesday. Before the play of the day, looking at college football, we're going to be looking at one of the MAC games. It's going to be a matchup between Bowling Green and Miami, taking place at around 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the play of the day, we look at team total in the spot. We're going with Miami team total over 34 at -118 on Fox Bet. Time recording of 11:56 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like the over in the spot. First of all, 34 is a solid number. Every other book around has 34.5. And going through Bowling Green's recent performances, the defense has not exactly been a calling card of this team. Bowling Green has allowed at least 34 points in each of its last 5 games. It can't get a stop. We knew Bowling Green was going to be a terrible football team this season, and props to them for actually winning a couple of games. But defensively, this team's an absolute mess. And you look at how Miami's performed lately, it has done pretty well. Scored 40-plus against Buffalo, scored 33 against Ohio the game prior. The offense has looked pretty sharp lately. And against this Bowling Green defense, I do think you will see a decent amount of success take place for Miami's offense. But to go through some of the other factors in this matchup, you have to talk about the fact that there's still a lot of motivation for Miami for this matchup. Now, I know, of course, they're favored by about 17 points, and maybe it's just me. I don't exactly love laying double-digit favorites, especially 3-possession favorites with MAC teams, but Miami still has a lot to play for. It's 5-5, and of course, that means one more win, and it will qualify for a bowl game. But in addition to that, Miami is also currently in first place in the East Division in the MAC, which means that if it wins out, it will be going to the MAC title game. Now, the interesting dynamic there is the fact that it is currently tied with Kent State, and they play each other in the final game of the season. So you might be thinking that this game might be relatively meaningless for Miami, but that's not true because Ohio is one game behind, and Ohio beat Miami head-to-head. And, of course, Ohio is playing roughly at the same time that Miami is. So Miami's going to need to win this game in order to fend off Ohio. And on top of that, since this is going to be the final home game of the season, it's not COVID year, so you don't have an extra year of eligibility anymore. That does mean that it will be the final home game for a decent amount of the players on the active roster, which we all know is usually an emotional time for these players, especially the seniors who are starting and playing a fair share of snaps. And I do think that the added I'd say home element to this will actually play a big factor for home field advantage because we know that the MAC, most guys don't exactly leave early to go to the NFL. A lot of people or a lot of players have been there for a long period of time, and now a lot of them will be moving on. I do think beating up on a Bowling Green team that they easily should beat up on is definitely on the minds of a lot of these players, and I do think that Miami will do so. Now, if you want to take the full game over instead, I don't mind that, but Bowling Green's offense, I do have some serious question marks with. So I'm not exactly thrilled to take it over when I'm expecting Miami to do most of the heavy lifting. But when it comes to a team total of 34, I know that it sounds relatively high. It's really not. You're looking at what Bowling Green has done defensively. I already mentioned the 34 points in each of the last 5, but you can go through the actual numbers here. They gave up 35 against Akron. Akron, we know, is a bad football team. Gave up 55 to Eastern Michigan. They beat Buffalo in that shocking upset in the end of September. They still gave up 44 points, so they scored 56. The issue was the defense still couldn't really do anything and give up 49 to Toledo last week. Got killed, gave up, I think, 35 in the first half. But you're going to give me a team total under 5 touchdowns with a team that's been playing pretty well lately, having won 3 of the last 4 games against the Bowling Green team that has really struggled lately defensively. I do think that this number seems a bit low, and I think that Miami will probably finish this game with at least 38 points or so. But for the play that I once again here for Tuesday, November 16th, it's going to be on Miami, Ohio, team total over 34 at -118 on Fox Bet. Bye, everyone.